think you're on.
No, we can't be on. Are we on, John?
Yeah, we're on.
Hey, you guys. This is Ginger Cook. Hey, guess what? It's Acrylic Painting Monday.
Woohoo!
Yes, and I'm just getting the paint off my fingers from putting out the paint because I seem to swim in it when I'm putting paint out on the palette. I don't know if you do that, but I do that. So, you know, then I spend a lot of time using my little tub of towel cloths to clean that up. So we're going to have a kind of a different show. The last few weeks we've been doing nothing but flowers. I guess we did one peacock, but we thought we'd take you down to France or Italy and to Tuscany maybe and get you into the farm country and the rolling hills and just I think everybody, it's April, everybody's kind of ready for a vacation. I know ours is going to start really soon. Well, vacation is really not quite the world, but John and I are going to be traveling again soon. I think we all have the urge to just open the door and let some fresh air in, and sometimes we can't do that because of the weather, but we can paint it. So we're going to be talking about atmospheric perspective tonight, and John is, say hi, John.
Hi, John.
John is adjusting all the little last-minute things so you can see that we have to line this up so you can see our, want to make sure you can see the palette, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to share with you some sort of fun, exciting things that are coming up. We're going to talk about that, some fun paintings that we're going to be doing, both on YouTube and in the Academy, so that you can kind of prepare ahead of time for it and not be taken by surprise, because we want everybody to participate. And we'll, I don't know, let's get the show started. Let's get the show started.
Do that again?
Let's get the show started, John.
The show started.
Yes. All right. So you can see this is my reference photo. This is what I'm going to be painting. It's not an old DG, but it's one that John and I designed ourselves. And sometimes when you design things, you know, we'll just see how close we can come to this on this small. It was originally going to be a much larger canvas, but we're going to do this on an 8x10.
Let's do it on a 9x12 since that's what I gave you.
Yeah, but you told everybody it was 8x10, and that's what I put in everything.
No.
Well, I'm 9x10, but we have to change it all now because we said that.
Who said it was 9x12? Who said it was 8x10?
I don't know, but you did, and then I said, and so, well, guess what, you guys? It's 9x12.
I had a 9x12 in the description when I wrote it in my part.
Well, I didn't see that. I
you
think
just overwrote me. Oh, that's fine. I'm not important anyways.
All right.
I'm chopped liver.
Well, I thought it was odd, but you know, who am I to argue with the genius over there? So he thought 8x10, and I think I'll just make do, but I really didn't want to do an 8x10. I'm just going to whine a little bit. All right, let's talk about the colors I'm going to be using. I'm going to bring this palette right up here so you can see it.
Ooh, that's pretty.
And we got all the colors out here. We've got cadmium orange. We've got marigold. We've got yellow oxide. We've got cad yellow medium. We've got, I don't know if we'll use this or not, but I thought we might, the luminous rose from Holbein, magenta, cad red, medium cad red light, don't know, Dazzling purple, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, burnt sienna, and phthalo green, and white. And then this is like a off-white. You could use either buff titanium or raw umber and white would do it, and a little bit of yellow oxide would make that color. But I thought it's just easier to have it all made up. So anyway, those are the colors we're going to be using.
Especially if you're going to use a lot of it.
And when you're doing a landscape, it's important to remember you start from the back first. Okay, so you start back here. But one thing I might do, even though I said that, is I might just do a layer of light color and paint in my houses because I want to preserve those. Now the traceable for this will be available tomorrow. And this is the buff titanium. Be available tomorrow. There you go. And then I know I've got this lighter here. And this will probably need 2 coats, so that's why I'm doing this now, so that you can see that. And we're just going to put our little path in like that. And I'm going over colored pencil, which is of course changing its color too. And I'm going to go ahead and put some of this in here like that, as long as we've got the colors. Yes and yes? So that sometimes it helps to just give yourself a little breathing room as far as painting something. So the sky, we're getting a lot of clouds in this, but probably want to take some phthalo blue, a tiny bit, like 1% with the 1 or 2% with the oh, that's ultramarine, that's why. Phthalo blue for our clouds. I've got a tiny bit of ultramarine and this buff titanium in it. And I'm going to go ahead and just suggest this is where my sky is going to be. And see how I'm going down and across and down and across. There's paint on both sides of my brush. Yes and yes, just like that. And the canvas is just sort of peach color. It could be any color you wanted, really. It could be anything you want. It doesn't really matter. Some sort of light color, I think, is a little easier to paint on. You could have, I suppose, done a light blue canvas. And then over here, we've got sort of some indicating of some storm clouds. So we'll just start with what's left over here because we got to put a lot of colors on this. Okay. In this corner, we're going to put a lot of colors on that. Yes and yes. So, all right, so you're thinking, not much happening there. Well, no, there isn't. So I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine now to that mixture, ultramarine blue. I want to come back down here and say that that's the color I want for this first mountain range. It's ultramarine blue and that buff titanium color. Okay. All right, so far so good. And I guess we can come right up to the house with that, right? Yeah, put a little of that over here too. We don't know, but we're putting a little bit right there. So, it's an interesting thing, and I always ask myself, where else can I use this color? If I take a little of that color right now with this blue color, and I add some buff titanium to it, and a tiny bit of burnt sienna, okay? Now I've got the color for the house right here, and I'll put a little tiny bit of cad red medium with it too. This is just the color for the side of this house right here, like that. There's this one right there, like that.
Yeah, the background color on this one is not real important, just a lighter color.
Yeah, we told you it really doesn't. We keep telling you it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter on this one.
Just any old color, right? So just some sort of light color, and I'm going to paint that back there again because I lost that. Well, actually, that's a happy accident because that needs to be like that. So anyway, all right, and then I think I'm going to take some orange, and that's cadmium orange, and I'm just going to give a quick swipe to the roofs. Sometimes if you just block a few things in as you're waiting for that blue to dry. So I'm going to block that roof in like that. And I'm using a little ruby satin silver angle brush because it's it's actually not a ruby, it's a Bristol-on angle brush. It's a 3/8 inch. It's the color I'm using. Then I'll put a little burnt sienna on this side of it and say, here's the darker side of this roof, like that. And I've got a darker roof on this one right here. Let's take a little bit of orange, and here we go, like that. Take a little bit of cadmium orange and put this roof in. You don't really see much of it, but we're going to put it there, and we're going to paint that orange right there. So it's just doing that. You can do a lot while you're just sort of, I would say, blocking in things, because that's what we're doing now. It's just sort of blocking in things. I might take some cad red medium and put it on top of that. I want this a little brighter on this side. Maybe go over that a little bit darker. Okay. Sometimes you have to do orange a couple times to bring the color out a little bit. Sometimes you've got to give red a couple coats. So I'm waiting for that to dry. So I think, what could I do now? Oh, well, I could take a little bit of that buff titanium and do this, make this white right here. It's got a little orange in it, and that's all right. Okay, like that. Going to give another coat to this one. And give another coat here. See, this is kind of dried up enough where I can give that another coat now. Okay. You see what a difference it makes when you do that. Sometimes you just have to do it twice. So now I think this is. Let's see, there's still blue on my finger, so that's not dry enough. So we're just to ignore all that. All right, let's do some grass. So let's take some burnt sienna and yellow oxide, kind of a bit of mixture of both. And burnt sienna and yellow oxide, like that. Let's come along here like this. Look at the direction of the brush strokes. That's kind of our underpainting for that, okay? We'll do that, and let's do the same thing, but we'll take a little bit of yellow oxide and kind of cad yellow light, and let's do this one. Let's say there's our field here. Remember, notice the direction that I'm the brush strokes. You wouldn't want to go back and forth because it wouldn't look like a hill. Okay. So you see, we're just kind of blocking that in. And I want to give a shout out to a good friend of ours in Colorado, Jennifer, who I got to talk to a little bit of time today. And we had a great discussion about painting, and she particularly finds that landscapes aren't as colorful for her. She doesn't really enjoy landscapes as much, a little bit more yellow oxide now, as she does, like, say, still lifes or other things. Interesting. And then the other kind of interesting thing that we were talking about was that she ran into a pretty famous artist, and all artists have opinions. And trust me, if you hang out for us long enough, we'll tell you what they are. We will.
And we're not bashful.
We're not bashful. And even my daughter and I, Cinnamon, do not always agree. Well, hardly ever agree on things when it comes to stuff like that, but we agree to disagree sometimes. One of the reasons when we do personal art coaching, I don't want to actually do any of her tutorials is one that, because I wouldn't want to say anything, maybe I wouldn't criticize the design or anything, or we stay away from that. But as far as that, you can, if you're sending your artwork into me, if you're an Academy member and you're sending your artwork into me, pick a little orange down here, you're sending your artwork into me, you can of course send it in, but you can't, and you can do your own stuff, and even say an artist that's not deceased yet, like say somebody like George O'Keeffe, who I couldn't do a tutorial on, but I don't care, I'll help you paint one, right? But I won't do other YouTube artists, I won't do my daughter, and I require that you have some sort of references. I really feel that I can't strongly enough tell you why I think references are important. A little bit of light yellow here.
Can you move your palette into the frame, please?
I can. Here, let me do that. Sure. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, I'm just doing underpainting colors now. Can you kind of see that? Just kind of, I know I want something a little bit lighter here. And I want something here, and back under here. So this is for Jennifer, who doesn't think landscapes have any color, but they honestly, they do. Well, they don't have to, but they can, right? And certainly a Ginger Cook landscape has lots of colors, but
tons of colors.
But who's talking? You know what I mean? So let's see. I want this side of the house to have, that side has a roof on both sides. And I take a little bit of light color here and go on top of this with a little orange in the brush like that. That's the kind of, it's kind of like a wine cellar right here, kind of like a little bungalow-y thingy. Like that. There you go. Just on top of there like that. Hey, I don't know how long it'll take me, John, to paint something like this. People always say, well, how long does it take you to paint that? And I have no idea. All right?
Hey, we'd like to thank Pamela for the donation that came in through Stripe. Thank you, Miss Pamela.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes and yes. We appreciate that very much. And I want to thank Jules. She sent it. She let me. She wanted me to know that there were other companies that make angle brushes, and these are Princeton ones. They're 1/4-inch Princetons, and she sent me 2 of those. And they're nice. I'll try some of these while we're painting too. You see how that's nice because it's Bristol-on doesn't go any smaller than this. And can you see how much smaller this is? Can you see that?
Yeah, it's about an 1/8 inch or so.
Yeah, it's a little smaller. So, well, I'm just saying it. Sometimes you want something in a little more detail. You want something smaller, and it's nice to know that people make that, right?
Yes, and yes.
So let's put this roof down here like that. Okay. I want this a little bit redder here too, this side of the house. I'll bring this down. I'll put the bush over it. Okay. So as you can see, you can see how we did a painting like this years ago, but 5 or 6 years ago. Kind of one. This is a lot more involved than that one, this picture. So I'm going to take a little phthalo green and yellow oxide, and I want to come up here like that and just do some. See, I want some more yellow with it. Maybe cad yellow. Let's do some cad yellow with that. I want some green, kind of stripy things here going, like that. There you go. So this is where the layering makes a difference. Even here, I want to take a little bit of this green in here where this is still wet and suggest. Ooh, let's put a little bit of orange with that. I want more of an olive green, nothing too bright, but. Anyway, so Jennifer and I were talking today, and she was talking about the fact that this one particular artist that she ran into felt that the correct way to paint flowers and things was their size. That artists really made a mistake making them say larger than life. So if a flower normally was say 3 inches in diameter, to make it 12 inches bigger, make it really bigger. And he felt that was incorrect, and he had a lot of reasons for it. But for me, I want to give you the reasons why I think it's important to be able to not, I already have photographs for stuff. So what we're doing here is not creating reality. We're kind of creating a fantasy world that is kind of like reality, but kind of better. Kind of what we're doing, right? I mean, people do that. I mean, my goodness. I mean, you see me today with a full makeup on and hair, but I promise you that this is a far cry from where I was this morning. Okay, and Jonathan would laugh. I always laugh every day. I make this before and after big change, right? Well, that's kind of what you're doing with your painting too. When is that you're just sort of creating. That's the fun of being an artist, that you can create things. Don't let somebody sit on your creativity and stomp it out. Ooh, that's profound, isn't it? Don't let somebody stomp out your creativity with their own rules about what you can and can't do. I say, bully for you. Show us something different. Don't let people intimidate you with that kind of thinking. All right, let's see, let's pull this down. I got some bushes here, but I want to pull this down a little further. Okay. All right, so that's pretty dry now, the blue. And I'm going to switch brushes because I've been in the yellow. And I'm going to this is one of the brushes that Cinnamon gave me. It's a Raphael number 4 or something or other. Yeah. It's a D brush. It's a brush, but it's...
it has a different fur, though.
It has a different fur on it. I got to put my glasses on. It's a Artie something. It's an Artie D brush. It's the Artie one.
Artie D brush.
It's the brush that's Artie. It's the Artie brush. All right. So we're going to take some of this buff titanium. We're going to come up here like this and just do the Artie thing. Doop, doop, doop. And you can make the sound effects, We don't have any music with our... videos, but I guess that could be fun. We just haven't done that, but well, we tried it a couple times. We just really don't do it. But this is a brush where you see I'm kind of stomping my brush.
Stomping around.
I'm stomping it, and then kind of twisting it as I do in different directions.
This would be expressive clouds.
Yeah, right. And we just got the one color here going, but that's not to say we wouldn't use other colors. Okay.
Hey, we'd like to thank Wanda for the donation that came in through PayPal. Thank you, Miss Wanda.
Thank you very much. And I've really been enjoying what Wanda's been painting. She sends me things in for personal art coaching all the time, if that's the same Wanda. Don't know.
It is.
And I got to tell you, it's so fun to see how people improve and try different things and get challenged by stuff that they're doing. And we try to feature, if you're watching our Gazette, we try to feature in the Gazette someone that's, you know, one of our students that maybe, you know, for instance, the monkey jacks that Janny did, I like it a lot better than the one I did. Hers was much better than mine, and I don't mind telling you, and I'm just here to teach you how to do it. If you do something better than me, I'm just here to applaud you, you know. But sometimes it's nice to be able to tell you how to do things. Now I'm going to take a tiny bit of this yellow oxide with that color, see, not much, and just add a bit of that, not too much. Doop, doop, doop. Nothing, again, we like to tell you that is ever one color, okay?
Never one color.
Just a little bit in there, but, you know, so now we have two tones. And then I might take a little of the ultramarine blue and that color, just barely touch it in here like this. Just barely touch it. I mean, I'm almost tickling the canvas. My brush is so light here.
Tickling that's over who's laughing.
Who's laughing?
The canvas is laughing.
Yeah, I'm tickling the canvas like that, see? And I'll give it another
tickle.
Another tickle. I'm going to give it another coat of the, another sky color coat, which I ran into something else there on my, here, let me just, I know what I'm missing. I just need anything to mix on. I can't mix, when I have a little palette like that, I can't mix on it. So here's a paper plate. I can do that.
And it's so far from paper.
Blue and white, right, a little bit of burnt sienna. There you go. All right, like that. Let's take a little bit of more white, a little more phthalo blue. There you go, like that. More white. All right, there you go. That's my color right there. And I'm going to come up here like that.
The brush that Ginger is using right now, it's called the Artist D brush by Raphael.
Yeah, it's a
the
by
Art
Raphael,
Sherpa.
and the Art Sherpa sells these in her store. They're neat little brushes. You can scrub with them, do all kinds of stuff, and they're very forgiving. All right, so you see how we did that? Just then I might put a little bit more ultramarine blue with that, just not much different. Come over here with this and do another layer on top of that. Layers are always the thing, aren't they? And I'm going to take a little bit of the magenta and add to this. You see that? And just come up here like that in the sky. A little bit of that while this is still wet. Yes and yes. All right, so that's a good color to use. And let's take a little bit of buff titanium. Just gently tickle the canvas with that. You're barely touching it. Just almost flat and then lift. Flat and lift like that.
For those of you that did not get our YouTube Gazette, we are having Cinnamon and Ginger will be on next Monday for a Q&A session.
Yeah, it's sort of our big newses. We're going to be on, that's our big newsy thing. Is that Cinnamon, is that before they go to Ireland, they're getting very close to going. And so
we thought we'd grab her one more time before she takes off on us.
I want something a little lighter right here between these two hills, like that. And then I'm going to take a little phthalo green.
I do have a question and answer form that can be filled out if you're so interested in asking a question. That way we can queue them up before the show.
Yes.
I know that Tech Liz has got that link. She's put it out there a couple times, and we'll probably post something in Facebook with that link. So we can get all the
it's
questions.
nice to have Cinnamon and I appreciate the fact that we'd have these questions ahead of time. This is some phthalo green. And you see how I'm sneaking up to that light line I just put in there. See right there how I got it? Because I snuck up on it. You're going, ooh, cool. And wow, that's kind of neat, right? I'm thinking about where else can I put this color. Really nowhere else for the time being. Oh, I could put it right here. I could take that green and make a little green shadow like that. Notice it's kind of going this way. If you went from this corner, it would end up that way. That's the color. Let's do another little green shadow here. Sort of a green shadow for our trees that I know are going to be here. And, okay. So, I mean, obviously, it never hurts to ask where else can I put that color. There's this house. Pretty sure that this color is kind of some dark greenery right up in here. Take a little bit of yellow with it. I want something kind of dark, so take some dark blue with it. I know that right along in here it's going to be dark. And sometimes you can just, figure out, well, where else can I, when I get into the where else can I put that color, I'm pretty sure I can put those in right there, and that's pretty good. So, those are things you can think about doing when you're painting something like that. All right, so I'm going to put this brush away now, but that was fun using the debrush.
Debrush?
Yeah. Debrush.
Debrush.
Now, in order to get a little depth going here, we're going to do something fun. Not that this haul hasn't been a blast, but let's take a little bit of purple and that buff titanium, and a little bit of burnt sienna, and I want to come along here like this. And I need a little, I think I'll put some white with that. Come along here like that. Just have a little light something there. If you don't put that in, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. And then do some more of this light green color.
Hey, we'd like to thank Jules for her donation that came in through the PayPal system. Thank you, Miss Jules.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's really nice, you guys. Things have been, John and I have got this enormous trip planned, and we're eating rice and beans so we can go, right? It's one of those things where we're just.
And some of us enjoy rice and beans.
And then, anyhow, I've got to bring this hill up here by my house. There you go. So we appreciate it very much, and it also you're helping other artists too, because we're scholarshiping people, and that's always nice. I love to see what people are doing, and if somebody that has been trying to join the Academy and their budget isn't there, just contact us if you have someone you want to recommend. Maybe it's yourself. It's all right. Sometimes it's harder to say something about yourself than if you get a friend, get a buddy to write it. But anyhow, we're happy to make it possible for people to continue this education. All right. So that's how to tell you what we're doing now. So all right. So far. Hard to talk and focus on what I'm doing at the same time. I really do lose focus, and I apologize, but I'm going to take a little bit of this light green color, come on down here like that, and bring this down on my road.
Can you move your canvas accordingly to the window, please?
Here?
And down a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
our little thing that moves no longer works. I want to give a shout out to my friend Andrew in Haiti. He, can't watch the shows live. He downloads them, but he's able to download. And so he watches it the next day. So if you guys want to, at this point, things are pretty rough in Haiti, and the fact that he can find us at all is amazing. So you guys want to give a quick, send some love and light to Andrew, because he's missed. He always comments and does nice things. So, and he just hasn't had, how bad it is to not have electricity, and
kind of some of the creature comforts of home you don't have anymore.
Oh no, I know, and you just don't even we all take this for granted. A hurricane comes or power outage of some kind, and you're out for a few days, and you're just you're so upset, right? And he's been living without electricity for the most part where they live, and for a long time. He's got a little bit of solar, and because it just isn't available because of the turmoil on the stuff that's going on in where he is. So anyway, I'm gonna shout out to him, say hi. Let's do another layer of this color on there, like that, on our road. Put a little tiny bit of light yellow with it. Now we can lighten this up just a little bit, not much, but not even that much. We don't need that much light yellow, but we want this a little lighter. So you see how I'm building up the layers in here as we're doing it, right? And that's what you want to do when you're painting something like this, is to build up the layers. And here's another layer of clouds, and I'm going to thicken up the paint by just see this little glob of paint. I'm kind of come around here like that, and I'm going to thicken up the clouds a little bit. And it's just amazing what the texture does for you. Like that. There you go. So that gives us some real distance. Then let's take some phthalo blue and phthalo green. Come in here like this with something darker. Right in here like that. And there's going to be a bush here, but let's just paint that out. So, all right, so we're going to say that maybe a little ultramarine blue here to kind of change colors a little bit between here. All right, like that. And didn't really want to lose my house, but we can put her back. On something this small, it's a little tricky. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining it can be a little tricky to get all of that the way you want it. But that's okay. You can see where we've got a good. You can see where right now where I am. I think I've got a pretty good start on my sky. See what I mean?
Looks like you do.
My background, and that's what I'm going for. All right, so, and even this grass stuff up here, right? So, let's suggest a road or something back there like that. All right, so just sometimes you can put the smallest little things in the distance. You don't even have to say what they are. Everybody's mind just kind of makes up a new story about whatever it is you just put in the picture, which is kind of cool too. So anyway, Cinnamon and I, they're getting very close to moving, as you may know, but we want to talk about her store, and we'll answer questions and
do all that fun stuff.
Do all that stuff next Monday. So, but never fear, John and I have done some amazing, if I do say so myself, apparently I am, videos for when we're traveling. And hopefully I'm going to post on in our we're going to be, for instance, in around the 1st of August or somewhere close to that. We're going to be in Boston, and so if any of you happen to live close to Boston and want to get together with us, we have the whole day. Our plane doesn't leave till the evening, so that would be something we could do, which sounds kind of fun, right? Doesn't it? And we don't know. I mean, let's see where else we could, kind of catch up with you guys. Let's see. Let's do a little bit.
That's July 22nd.
July 22nd. We're going to be in Boston. Yeah.
Yep.
So if somebody's in Boston that wants to meet us and hang out for the day, maybe we can go to the art museum or do something fun.
We have a 6:30 p.m. flight.
Yeah. So.
And they kick us off the ship by 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So we'd have the day to spend with you. You want to do it? And there's more than one of you, then we'll have to figure something out. But we're happy to do that. See how I just keep building up the colors? But the one thing you notice that's pretty permanent is the fact that when I do the layers, for instance, that I've got some more browns in this spot right up in here. Down in here too, maybe. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit of this.
We would like to thank Sharon for her donation. Thank you very much, Miss Sharon, coming through the PayPal system.
Oh gosh, you guys, we thank you so much, because I know it sounds like, well, they're traveling all that much, they must be multimillionaires or something. And what it is that we have figured out a way to do this totally on the cheap. I'm writing a book on how to cruise for free, and I'll try to have it. Hopefully, I'll have it done by the time this thing is. But John and I really want to see the world, and, while we can, and still have the health and the ability to see it. And so we feel fortunate in that there's still a cruise industry available that will take us places, and we can go for a month cheaper than most people can go for a week at a hotel. Seriously, it's amazing, and we're just taking advantage of that. And we will also be we're going to meet Nikki in Calver. We're meeting her in
the UK.
In the UK, we're going to meet her in May, but we'll also be back there later on that month if somebody else is in. We're going to be going to Ireland and Wales and Scotland, and we're more than willing to meet any of you guys there in those countries.
Iceland and Greenland.
And Iceland and Greenland, and even Norway. I don't think we have any members from Norway, but I don't know who's watching, so maybe we do, and I just don't know. So, anyhow, you guys, we think that's kind of fun, and that's what
when you're traveling, you go to an art museum. What is the type of art you are drawn to?
I like to see the old dead guys. I have been to like the Museum of Modern Art in Chicago, and I would go again because it's interesting. But for me, I personally like there's a little bit of purple and magenta here and white. I personally like like to see the old. I like the Impressionists. Whenever I can see the Impressionists, I'm always happy. But I know that's not always possible.
No, they're usually closed when we go.
Yeah, but we'll stay in the museum and really we like to go, and it's really nice to see museums in Europe because they
got all the old stuff.
They got old stuff, right? They got old stuff.
They got the old stuff.
They got old stuff, yeah. So you're going, wow, see, you're kind of seeing something now, aren't you? Kind of seeing how this is kind of taking shape. I mean, we haven't done a lot yet, but we've done a little bit, yeah. And I like to use the back of the brush and just this part here to put the little windows in. You don't want them too bright. You just barely want to see them. Like this is just burnt sienna. You don't want to get them too dark.
You want to just suggest something there.
Yeah, and we'll do a bright blue one here, though, just for fun, because why not, right? We'll put a blue one over here. And then I'm going to do purple on the side of the building here. But I need to, before I do that, I need to lighten up that building. Let's use one of the brushes that,
Yeah, we have Yoshi in the house.
yeah. Hey, Yoshi! Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while either. And the last thing I heard on the news, but you
Wasn't
guys,
good.
I hope you're okay. You know, it's you know, it's just, wow, hope you're okay. So I'm so pleased that you're here, because I watch the news and then I worry for all of you guys, the guys that are in the tornado alleys and in the
War zones.
and gosh, and John and I just go, oh no. And our friend, you know, Judy wrote me today, it's one of our moderators, and you know, somebody in her neighborhood just started to shoot up the place. And you know, it's just, we live in a different time, different world. A little bit yellow with this. There we go. I want this a little bit lighter right here. This is a nice little brush, by the way, Jules. It's very soft and nice. I like it. Thank you very much for that. So you can see how it's allowed me to just put these details in. Okay. And let's do that here too. So there you go. So just barely touching it. This very light, it's a very light touch here with what I'm doing. I'm barely touching the canvas, okay? But I want this part of the roof a little bit lighter than the back part right here. So that's what I wanted to do right there, was kind of lighten something before I put the windows in. See how we're kind of doing that? So I think sometimes when you look at this, you think, oh man, this looks complicated. Promise you, if you go become an orange member on our website, which is just $5 a month, you can sign up for just 1 month if all you want to, and then you have access to all our traceables for the last 3 years. And then before that, the traceables are all on, or the pictures are all on Pinterest. gingercooklive on Pinterest. If you see any, if you happen to be watching old videos and want to know where the traceables might be for that. And okay, so see how we got our little little windows in. I'm in purple now, so I'm going to take a little magenta and purple and ultramarine blue, and I'm going to put our bushes. They're sort of like ball-shaped. Nothing too clever here. You know, if they're kind of all the same, it's because somebody was out there with pruning shears. I'll tell you a funny story. One time, back when we lived in California, Cinnamon and I and her dad, we had a horse property, and one day this young man showed up, and he had, you know, obviously didn't have any documents, and he wanted us to hire him to, you know, feed the horses and clean the stalls and everything and all of that. And you know, he was probably 16 or 17 and very brave and all by himself. And so we said, yeah, okay. And he was staying down at one of the neighbors, but he was going around the neighborhood trying to find extra jobs. So we felt kind of bad for him. So we said, tell you what, I called up my friend Nathan Bortz, and he and his wife were like in their 70s, but they had all these orange trees, nice orange orchard, you know. So he wanted somebody, you know, Nathan didn't want to have to get out and keep pruning those. So I said, listen, you got to hire this kid. He needs the money, and I think we should, you know, we can't stop, you know, immigration or whatever, but, you know, he's here, so what can you do so he doesn't starve, you know? And so anyhow, Nathan hired him to prune his orange trees. And now what's funny to me about this, probably wasn't so funny to Nathan, I thought it was hysterically funny. He said, your friend isn't very good at pruning, is he? Well, I don't know why he'd think somebody that just crossed the border would actually suddenly, miraculously be zapped in his mind with becoming a tree trimmer. I mean, I don't know, but apparently he didn't enjoy the job because he was good with horses. He didn't really want to work trimming anybody's trees, and he cut them down to all little stubs. I guess he just murdered those trees. just murdered those trees. And I didn't know what to say, but needless to say, he didn't have it back, which is kind of sad, right? But what can you do, right?
Well, you tried to,
Well, you try to help, but I mean, I figured, have him muck out the stables or something that, he was qualified to do because he had been around horses. He knew that. Nathan had a horse. I couldn't imagine having him suddenly become a master gardener and giving him shears. I mean, I think to me, it was really Nathan's fault. Nathan didn't want to hear that, but I personally thought it was Nathan's fault. I'm going to put a little bush right here, like that, on the top of my hill to even give it more depth. And let's put some trees back. Let's put some bushes back here. A little phthalo green here, blue. Okay. And just remember, you don't want lollipop tops. You want them a little bit raggedy and uneven. Everything's dried a little bit. Aren't you impressed? Everything's dried a little bit. And come over here and we'll say there's this. Use the tiny little brush strokes. Don't just glob this on, friends. And like up in here, this is kind of bigger group of trees like that. See, do you see how we're creating atmospheric perspective by just doing this? It's sort of interesting, isn't it? And I'm going to take a little bit of light orange paint here, and I want something a little brighter right here and along here like that, because I'm going to put something dark. There, okay. You can always pop up your colors. Jennifer. You pop them up, Jennifer. Gonna throw you under the bus tonight, Jennifer.
Boy, I'm telling you, Jennifer, it's going to be the last time you talk, huh?
I'm just saying, right? Of course you are, I'm just saying, right? Anyway.
Yeah, you're just saying. I hear you.
I'm just saying, right? You ready for this? We're going to come up here like that using the angle brush in ultramarine blue and phthalo green. Use the angle brush like this. These kind of trees, they're like candles. They're a little wider at the bottom.
They're like an evergreen tree.
Yeah, they are. You see them a lot in Europe because they make great wind blocks.
I could see that. I remember seeing that when we were there.
Yeah, they do, and then that's kind of the reason that they're planted, is for that. See, now you've got some depth in this painting. We haven't really done much, have we? Kind of we did, but we knew we didn't really. Speaking of not doing anything much, I want to show you something. I'll just let this dry for a minute. I'm going to move my brushes into the water. And I want to just show you some paintings that we've got coming up. Now, first off, I know we promised you this last week. Where's the one with the frame, the picture with the frame? Where?
Behind you.
Behind me. Ah, here. So this will be in the Academy Tuesday. This is our picnic in the rain. We didn't get it out this week, but it will be there tomorrow. You want to look for that for those of you who are red or purple or pink member. Pink members are people who sign up for the week. They don't get personal art couching, but they can. They have access to anything they can paint in a week, and it's at a really good price, introductory
in the red member, the red member level.
They're called red. They're called and
they get access to the red tutorials and below.
Yes.
Not the purple stuff.
Yeah, they don't get the purple stuff. They just get the red and below. Yeah.
Red and below.
Okay. But we think this is a really fun summer painting. So anyway, that's going to be released tomorrow. You'll get to see that. And then you guys, I've been painting a storm up, and I want to show you. I want to show you something because John's going to back way out. You got to see this. This is going to be, like I say, we're going to be traveling, and sometime in the academy, in a few months, we're going to be releasing this one with the
little race cars.
It's called Day at the Races.
Day at the Races.
How fun is that? Doesn't it kind of remind you of the beach painting I did of the 4th of July in San Diego, 4th of July? So I'd show you that, but we sold that already. And so anyway, will be a fun one, and that's going to be that'll be in the academy. So people will say, well, what's the difference in YouTube and the academy? In the academy, we have very beginning lessons. We have personal art coaching for our red and purple members for anything on YouTube and anything in the academy. But also we have over 700 videos, I think. Now we have a lot of videos. And
you don't have me blabbing.
And yeah, John's just not blabbing. It's just, we get down to business on how to really paint stuff. And I don't know, we like that. People like that one, John?
I think they do.
Are we getting any feedback from that one?
No, it takes them an hour to feedback.
Oh, okay.
Nobody likes anything we've done so far.
All right, and then this is coming up soon. This is a 20 by 20, our poppies. That will be coming up. You saw that in the Gazette. That's a 20 by 20 and spectacularly large. And Jennifer, I got to tell you, it's all right that these flowers are bigger.
Poor Jennifer. I'm sorry, honey. Had I known she was going to do this, I would have curbed her.
But no, I think it's important because she can't be the only one that was told that. Somebody was actually told the other day that you wanted your paint thicker for texture. You could put flour in it. I promise you.
You can't put flour in paint.
But, you know, but I asked Cinema, I said, have you seen, we'll probably talk about that next week. And I asked Cinema, I said, have you heard that going around? She says, oh, yeah, there's some artists out there telling that story. And, you know, just because you heard it on YouTube doesn't necessarily make it so. And I always like to ask the manufacturer of things if you're really confused, because trust me, Golden Earth, those people, they'll tell you, you know. So anyway, that's our, you know, poppies, and I love that one. And then we've got coming up this summer, our flower market, called the Emporium and Flower Market.
Push it forward.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
And that's on 18 by 24. And that's a you know, really wonderful street scene. I think I think you guys are going to love painting that. And again, of course, you can buy any of our tutorials individually as downloads. And the week we release them, we're offering special discounts on the download. Like for instance, the picnic basket will have you know, you'll be able to purchase that as a downloadable lesson at a pretty neat discount the week, you know, from Tuesday on for the week till the following Tuesday.
The Day at the Races is a 12 by 24.
Yeah.
12 by 24 canvas on the Day at the Races.
This is 18 by 24. I want to show you something. Sometimes when you buy a canvas that has a board in it, when you paint it, you get a board mark. And we just take some old FedEx cartons and put it behind any kind of piece of cardboard. It's a good idea to do that because it gives you a little bit more of a flat, more sturdy surface to paint on, and you don't end up with that a mark where that stick is. Okay. So you know, that's my show and tell for the day. You guys liked it?
I loved it.
Was that good? That was my show and tell for the day.
It was good.
So. Oh yeah, what else is new? Yeah, so I'm looking forward. I hope that we, you know, our picture with paints will be painting plans are being finalized. We're going to start with a light green now up here because this has had a chance to dry. Just using the corner of this brush and tapping, we're going to say the light's coming this way. So that's where we're putting the light on the top of the.
I believe the cookie level on the flower market is either a 4 or a box of cookies. It's a long one.
But you know, you can trace it on and just take your time with it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll do a box of cookies if it's just not that it's going to be harder, but it's just going to take you longer to do it. We might count that. That's a, you know, box of cookies for a couple of different reasons can be not necessarily See, this is just cad yellow light, tapped.
Basically, the shadows went in first.
Yeah. And sometimes I can take a little phthalo blue and white and yellow, maybe a little phthalo green, maybe a little lighter here maybe. You always start with the dark base though. You want to make sure you're doing that, and phthalo green next to that hill is pretty. And let's take a little bit of yellow here, and I feel like we're painting the roses red here with the light green on top of our bushes. Okay, and okay, so there's our let's see, I want to bring this one up a little higher, this bush. Okay, and let's see, let's take some dark green and say that this is we got some dark green. Let's plant something right here, a little bit of dark green, ultramarine blue. Let's say, here we go, right up on this house right here. We're gonna, and then on this one, take some color. Now you see how this is coming alive because we've got so much depth to it, right?
You got depth and a lot of color.
Yeah, depth and a lot of color. And so now we've got, I don't know, to me some a little different perspective here. Let's come along here like that. Okay, so there's our little I don't know what I think it's like a fruit cellar or something, you know, or wine cellar maybe. Maybe it's a wine cellar, you know, for grapes.
Oh, I would think so.
Part of the farm. It's part of the farm. Whatever it is, it's part of the farm. All right, so let's take this and bring this right there on the end. Now I'm going to take some white and phthalo blue and phthalo green. And I'm going to say I've got some kind of light blue bushes right here like that. Now this is where a little bit of luminous rose color into the purple gets really pretty. This is where you're seeing all the colors, a little bit of ultramarine blue. Makes a nice purple with the luminous rose. Okay, and then we want to do the same thing here. We want to say the tops of these little bushes have got to be more of the purple color. Let's use that new brush that we got from Jules, because that's the perfect size for this. Now, would this be a little bit easier if you were painting this larger? I think so.
I would think so.
To be honest with you, so I think it would be, because you don't have.
But
to
this is a
be
good
so
one to
tight.
work out your colors and design and everything before you go big.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Because so many people start off with a 30 by 40 and go, boy, I wish I went a little
I know.
smaller.
Just kind of, Jules, thank you very much for this brush. It's just perfect for this. Gotta tell you. And this is where these trees have a lot of beautiful colors in them. This is what we call jewel tones. And trust me, they're in here in these trees.
They have jewels in them.
The jewel tone colors. And the lighter ones are up on top, kind of the lighter grays. And everything's open to artistic interpretation.
Well, that's why you're an artist.
Yeah, so is this exactly how these trees look? Maybe not.
I mean, we've
Okay.
already got a photograph,
This is,
so
yeah,
to speak. I mean,
we're just doing this. Any questions, John, coming up?
any questions? No, ma'am.
Anybody asking any questions?
Well, what size is the race one?
Oh, yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
12 by 24.
I think that's, would be a great one for,
A young boy's little room.
yeah, or,
I'd like to have it.
Dad's man cave.
Yep, I'd have it there
And
too.
people have the fond memories of that, right?
The good times roll.
This is luminous rose over that purple. And you see how pretty that is. And it's really hard to get that color. Holbein is the only one that makes a color like that. If you don't have it, then your next best bet is magenta and white. That would
But
be
it's
the
just not
next
quite
best.
the same.
No, but I mean, here's a little magenta to give you an idea. So, because we still want that color too. And see, I mean, the magenta is a little darker. Now, let's see, I want a little bit of kind of green and white. Phthalo green is a perfect color for this. We're going to take a little bit of green and yellow and say that there's another little green bush right here to break up this blue. Okay. And maybe we've got some green coming up this way. And because acrylics dry darker, I want to come back up here and just lighten this bush up back here, and maybe a couple of these. Yes and yes. But this is an interesting. It's an interesting. Going to put some stems in for our, trunks in for our trees.
You really have to paint fast to do wet on wet. Any advice if you're not fast, Ginger?
Layers then, and do little sections at a time. Right? Because you want to, if you're trying to wet on wet, you just have to do little tiny pieces of it at the time. That got too big, so I'm erasing that. See how I can clean brush and I can just
Swipe and wipe.
Because what I want back here, behind these bushes. Oh, you're going, no kidding.
You seem to be doing a lot more original design references lately. Is that going to be the trend from now on?
Yes, we're not. Yeah, we quit buying photos per se from some of these companies where they give you the rights to use the photos and stuff. We're not buying any more of those, and we're using John's photos from our trips, and we're using John and I are designing these together, and occasionally, we'll find a photographer that will let us use his artwork. Is
It's one of those photos.
with something like that, and if we find someone, we're not against using that, but we want a lot more original stuff, and a lot of times we're not, because of the way, our design process, we're really not sharing that either. But we will get, for instance, if you send me in your artwork for personal art coaching and you've got an original piece, I'm happy to. Oh, I see where I screwed up here. Sorry, I'm talking to you and not paying any attention. This is all tree here.
All bushy.
Yeah, this is all the bushes. Sorry. So yeah, these front two are bushes. I knew there was something off. I just couldn't figure out where I was. That happens when you're talking and not paying attention. So let's take some magenta. And let's take some light blue. There we go.
In that light, are we getting design lessons soon for the purple members?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to
Purple
be
members are
addressing
getting
more.
design lessons. When we do a painting, we tell you why we did a certain thing or how we're designing it.
You're going to have more of that as we keep going.
Yeah. But why we made the decisions we made. For sure.
Ginger, when you design a painting like this one that you're doing now, are you using a sketch, are you using a computer of a painting, making a computer painting? What are you doing?
Well, right now, for instance, we do a sketch. We find some reference photos that we think would work, and maybe 2 or 3, and then we just, John and I talk about it, and we also use our computer. We told you guys about Rebel.
And we'll have more things for that for you purple members too.
And was one of the programs that we use, and in fact, when they had their anniversary sale and they were offering that program for Memory Next to Nothing last year, we told you, but we. Oh my gosh, is that not coming along just neat, you guys? Come on. Is this almost kind of fun?
Almost kind of fun? Well, almost.
Do we have a frame for this 9x12, John?
Yeah, it has to have a picnic basket in it.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
I think I have a gold one. Gold wouldn't look bad on that either.
No, I want to bring the road in front of the houses, right, like that, see? Bring it over the hill. Oh, it's not. See, I mean, this did not take that long to paint, did it?
Just a buck.
See, and you notice this isn't a straight road for those sock holders. This road is.
Oh, you're just throwing everybody under the bus tonight, aren't you?
Well,
sock
I mean, I know
holders,
someone will
JC.
just make this a straight road, right?
I certainly would.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that.
Well, maybe my road is straight.
But we're not going to do that, right? Which is, I think this is kind of a happy painting. I don't know about you guys, but to me it's sort of happy. And we'll just put a little bit more here, like that, and then do some of this lighter stuff. Just use the corner of your brush, and you'll notice I'm not using water. I'm just wiping the brush off with a rag and just doing that.
I need a new computer and tablet. Recommendations? Well, we're Apple snobs.
But if you can get a pretty nice tablet of, you don't have to pay a lot for it, right? They don't have to pay.
Oh, you don't have to buy the top of the line like we always do.
You just, it has to do a certain thing, which is show it depends what you're going to do with it. But, if you want to have a tablet you can draw with too, get the pencil and start drawing with it. And that's a different tablet if you just want to watch your videos on it. Yeah?
Yes.
So, and I'm just going to go back up here and just lighten up something here on the road. And
you want me to get up and find
a little
that
bit
frame
lighter
for you?
right here. Whoops, too much paint. A little bit of yellow oxide here. Just purple will gray yellow. If this gets too bright for you, purple grays yellow. So if you find something like this gets gets a little bit too bright, you want to do that. Now we've got I think this is dry. So way up here, we've got a big tree coming like this. And it's dark. This is a dark green. Probably phthalo blue and phthalo green, and they're saying that this is another one of those trees.
Those tall, funny trees?
Yeah, those tall, funny trees, and I got it a little bit wide here, but I'll put some other bushes back here to fix that. Normally what you do is just dry it, and I think I can fix it though. Then I want to have the little bit of the light green on the side of it, like that, a little bit thick right there. Let's bring that in a little bit. There you go. And something dark on this side.
Cypress.
Yeah, cypress tree. I like
Thank
that.
you, PJ. PJ told us
tree.
that one. I knew that's what it was. And they smell good, too.
And just bring that one over the top of the hill a little bit. So I'm just sort of doing the last touches of this.
Last touch-ups. As we're closing out the evening, if you haven't given it a thumbs up, we'd appreciate if you do so. And also, if you haven't subscribed, consider doing it. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it does help us with the Apple,
and listen, absolutely.
with the YouTube
And share this
stuff.
video with people. Share the link. That's it. You can do so much by doing that. Just sharing the link makes such a difference. Just poking a little hole there for our trees. See that? Just subtle stuff, but it's all subtle stuff. Let's see, I've got that. Flatten your brushes out. When you dip it into the paint, flatten your brush out. Watch your edges so that you're just not painting, watch your shapes.
Remember, next week we'll have cinnamon and ginger. If you have questions, please use the form that is we posted in our clubhouse, and it's also in the Gazette.
I'm just using a little white up here.
If we remember, we'll put a link in this video in the description. We have to remember to do that, though.
So see how see how this brings your eye in, but we have a lot of a depth in this, and This dark doesn't go all the way across, but I did want to have it there, right? And I think in mine I had I just suggested that he might be he might be a beekeeper or something, and maybe have some beehives. And you don't have to put those in, but I think I will because I think they're kind of cute. So that's too big. I use just the side of the brush, not the flat of it. Okay, and back to the bright window. This didn't show up, so there we go. Yes and yes. And I think I want a little bit of bright, just a tiny bit of bright blue up here. Just because it's next to the orange and it's kind of pretty, yeah? So, you know, we could probably spend a little more time on this, but I think we're doing actually pretty excellent, don't you, Don?
Oh, I think you're doing magnificent, my queenness.
And just remember just that everything's a matter of light and dark, and sometimes you can come up under here like that and just suggest something light. You don't need a lot of paint, like that's a big glob of something, but you can just suggest that there's something light here on the road. And I didn't put any birds.
Or tractors.
Well,
no birds,
I know,
no
but
tractors. See, a tractor would make sense to me,
see,
coming down the road.
I was going to put a bird, but I know I didn't. So let's bring these bushes down here. Let's bring that one down. Like that. So there you go. I think that's probably is the most I'm going to do. If it dried, I might come back later and lighten up some of the tops of these bushes. When it dries, it may dry a little bit darker.
May try too dark for you, yep.
And I may just come back and change that. But for the most part, this is exactly what I wanted to paint. And John brought me a frame here, and I'll show you what that would look like framed. I think we got very close to it, though, don't you guys think?
I think you did a marvelous job.
Huh? And what do you guys think? So, I mean, you know, here it is, 7 o'clock. We did that in an hour and a half. That's not shabby, right?
Not shabby at all.
Right.
But you did it in an hour and 18 minutes.
Oh my gosh, even that fast. So I will sign it right there, and I would probably use a gold Posca pen and sign it right there. And if this was fun, you know, I hope you guys would say, oh, you know what I didn't do is put the chimneys on the houses.
Oh, no.
No.
Well, it's not done then. Good thing you didn't sign it yet.
Yeah, it's a good thing, because they need...
They need to be warm in the winter.
All right, so there's a little chimney that goes right here. And then there's one back here. Wow, that was a close call, huh?
Man, that was dodged a bullet on that one.
Kind of two-tone, kind of orange and it is, but we did it though, man. We wow.
Man, oh man.
That was close, right? And
most embarrassing.
And I want to make sure that we have some light on the road here, coming this way. There we go, right? So you know where we've got a nice driveway, and it's opposed to is there such thing as an unnice driveway?
It needs a tractor.
Yeah, does it?
It does.
Well, John, I don't know where you'd put a tractor. I know as much as you love tractors, but
I have one coming down the hill.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Ain't gonna happen, is it?
Not likely, but anyway, all right. So there you go. We've got it.
Not likely.
Tuscan Farm. I can't wait to see you painting this. I get to see them. If you're wondering how can you share it, if you're an Academy member, you can send it to me for a little personal art coaching, and I'd love to, be of assistance if that would be helpful. And if you're not, and we'd like to just, I love bragging about you guys. And if I want to see, Judy will put it in an album for you in our Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook. And Curly Painting with Ginger Cook. Be sure that take advantage of our memberships that we have there. They're free, and get a chance to share your artwork. We love seeing it, and I hope I see some of you painting this. I want to thank our moderators. Who was here tonight, John? Do you remember?
The moderators were. Yeah, they were here.
Thank you, guys.
We had moderator Luann, Lynn, Steffi, and Tech Liz.
Wow.
Thank you, gals.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for holding the fort down.
Thanks for holding the fort down, for sure. And it was just lovely having you here. And spread the word. Let people know. There's not another art school on the planet that offers what we do in the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. And, when you figure that under $50 a month, you can become a Red member and get personal art coaching 4 or 5 times a month with your paintings. That's pretty terrific. So
that is terrific.
We look forward to hearing from you. And if you were deciding this is the year you were going to join, so we welcome you.
Thanks everybody for joining us. And remember, next week it'll be the Ginger and Cinnamon show. The form listing will be in the Facebook page and also in the description here. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you. Oh, it's red slash, so we are done.
We're done, you guys. How fun was this?
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.